Alright, hello people at Watchtower. I got another interest check for you. I feel a little bit silly, but I am under-equipped for this kind of thing. It turns out I did like a whole 20-minute video on this. I made a new character, got them to level 6, did a first boss fight, talking all the way, explaining stuff, only to realize that it didn't record at all. I suspect it's because it was on like a full screen without being windowed, and I didn't restart the game because you have to with certain settings on this game, and it didn't work. So we are just going to select this guy, do an adventure map, and talk along the way. Now, to start this game off, I will explain the pricing concept. This is The Incredible Adventures of Van Helsing Final Cut. It's $45. It includes the other three games. There is 1, 2, and 3. Each of them are $15 each. The most I played was Van Helsing 2, which I have 16 hours on. I got to level cap, I think it was level 60 or something, and I played plenty of that. I had a lot of fun. It was a good game. The boss fight was very interesting. It was a very complicated tug-of-war type. Not complicated, but it was like semi-never-ending enemies. So this is the adventure mode. I haven't done this at all before. Oh, I gotta be level 20 for that. It's similar to Diablo 3's adventure mode. I don't know who stole the idea from who, but whatever. So this isn't absolutely a Diablo clone, which doesn't have to be as derogatory as that sounds. There's room in the world enough for... I think the genre is called ARPG, or Action RPG. Also, what's the word? Isometric RPG? Or just that top-down style. Also, Path of Exile is along the same lines. And I think, technically, Path of Exile is the better game. There's more to it, I think. However, I will say, Path of Exile is more directly a Diablo clone, while this has its own style. It's more steampunk. It's a more steampunky environment, so it's... Oh, hold on. I've already turned the volume down, but it doesn't seem to want to stick. 10%. That's good. See, Path of Exile is more fantasy. And just to give you credit, this game, I don't mean to insult the devs on better games and whatnot, but to give them this game credit, Van Helsing, I did manage to make level cap on Van Helsing 2. Unlike the Path of Exile, where it gives me more of a Diablo 1 vibe. It's a lot more, there's a lot more isolation, there's not a lot of dialogue, and it was a very dreary environment, and this one is vaguely more interesting. This game does have a different style about it. Largely through Katarina herself. She's a little ghostly companion that follows you around, and you can spec her for... That's not her screen. I seem to be building her for straight damage. Behavior ranged. I'll make her ranged. You can also make her passive, which gives you more damage. Let's make her melee. I seem to be giving her... No, I'm building her for damage. She's not... This gives her like a dodge value, and I haven't been touching that at all. So, hit points. Ooh, yeah, nice. This character is on hard mode, so things are taking a little more damage. I've never done the adventure mode before, but I just want to give you a general idea on how it looks and how it feels. Oh yeah, these. Oh dear. It's not letting me use. Alright. So I don't even know what all to say anymore because it didn't record my last interest check. I'm trying to mitigate some of the issues I've been having on a technical basis by loading OBS after I load my games. It seemed to have worked with World of Warcraft. I restarted OBS in-game and it seemed to actually take the whole screen. So I was trying to do that with this and it didn't really work. Something was lost in translation. I will start doing like recording checks to press my start button and then tab to it and see if it works. I don't want to do that right now. I did mention I am under-equipped a second monitor. I have 2 spare monitors, but for some reason my computer just won't detect one of them.
I can't do that.
So I'm missing some equipment, or I want to be able to just turn my head and see if it's capturing, not just in general, but to see if there's any visual glitches I can remedy. Instead, I'm in the process of uploading a few hours worth of the Warcraft private server, and it's filled with nothing but like some kind of weird automatic resolution, and I do apologize for that. New perk, yay, whatever that means. But to talk more on this game, it is multiplayer. I don't know how big the lobbies can be. It is not free to play, as I described earlier. It's just a completely different environment than Diablo, generally speaking. I don't think Diablo... Oh, dear. I don't think Diablo has a whole lot of clockwork areas. I think it's mostly just industrial, hellish complexes. Hey, there's one of them. I will say the humor on this game is a little more on the nose. Mostly through Katarina. I love hearing her talk. She's very charming, very snarky. So if you like sass, she's got it. She's got a lot of it. I will say there is a whole throughout all 3 or 4 games. There's a whole lot of references from media, movies, songs. A lot of it from Katarina herself. I think you meet a werewolf at some point, and don't quote me on this because it's been several months since I've played them, and I haven't even played the first or third one very much, but I think she says something like, you meet a werewolf, and she's like, oh, is he hungry like the wolf? That kind of thing. So, if you like referential humor, then these games have plenty of it. A lot of the references also come in the form of hidden content, where you can find just a literal ton of Easter eggs. In fact, when you end certain missions, it'll give you like a rating of how many Easter eggs you actually found. Like you found 2 out of 12. So if you like that kind of thing, this game has plenty of that. Unlike Path of Exile, which I didn't get a lot of humor out of. I made it to like level 20, and I wasn't bored with the game. But it didn't engage me because I didn't have anybody to play with. In fact, I might install that and give that a interest check video as well. Ooh, unidentified. Blade, it said, though. No, rifle. It is a downgrade in every aspect. Except for damage, but I get less DPS because I'm wielding some dual guns. Anyway, moving on. The sound design is a little more interesting than it may present. I do have it down to like 10%, so you can hear me talking. Oh dear. Sweet, leveled up. Ooh. Okay, alright, alright. I think I might be able to. Actually, the rifle doesn't seem to do that much more. I'll just do it. Just to mix things up a little bit. Can I zoom in? Yeah, you can. But now my middle mouse is broke, as it always is. Okay. I'm probably not even going to complete this. I've said all I think I can say about it. As with mini games, it's just a little more interesting to play with people. I probably had the most fun on Van Helsing 2, which I kind of want to see if I can replay the last level and record that just as a generic Let's Play, because that was a lot of fun. Okay. I don't know. Watchtower in general doesn't have a lot against Blizzard or anything. And I'm doing things like this to give you alternatives. Like, I think Diablo is still like a $50 game. So this one's only slightly cheaper than that. Maybe less if you get like Van Helsing 2, which I liked a lot of. Again, I have 16 hours on it and a level capped character. It engaged me enough to do that much of it. Unlike the rest of them. Not through any fault of the game itself, but perhaps other games might have distracted me. Again, I will say I think Path of Exile has a different, I think a bigger player base. But this one just has a completely different environment to it, and if that appeals to you, it's a fine alternative. But Diablo is a little more faster paced than this, even on higher difficulties if you're well geared. That's why I always play Demon Hunter, and that's actually kind of why I chose this class initially, because it emulates the Demon Hunter as close as I could figure out. What with the dual guns, and the rifles are basically the crossbows and bows and shit like that. I'm not using my abilities nearly enough. I don't know why this one doesn't... I'm pressing 1 and it's not... Yeah, 1 is the hotkey. But I'm pressing it and it's not doing... Oh! Okay. I'm just an idiot. Once again, I'm kind of... Well, no. I was going to say, once again, I'm going against my usual new rule of playing the game first and then recording, but I did totally do that accidentally here because it didn't record. But I was playing a different class. I started the story mode from the beginning and got to level 6, stopped at the boss fight, and then I was like, goodbye. Alt-tab to my folder and noticed there was no new video, so it never recorded. So. But yeah. Adventure mode, I was going to do it as a level 1, which you can do on Diablo 3, but it gives you a little pop-up error. Not an error, but a warning saying, hey, this adventure mode isn't really for low levels. You should probably play story for a little while. And I was like, okay, I guess I'll play a little bit of story. Oh dear. So yeah, I'm not gonna finish this. I just want to give you guys a feel for it. As you can see, it's very Diablo-y with the same gear colors. Those essences you see on, let me see, yeah, essence capacity. That's basically gems from Diablo. That's all that is. Oh, I need to get out of here. And you have like Diablo, Katarina is like your only companion, but you can make her fill multiple roles. Not at once. It's better to focus on one of them. Like I've got her with that, which gives her health and damage, I think. And you, as Helsing, don't necessarily have all the options in the world. It's mostly dependent on your class. Okay, those want you to be level 40. I don't know if 40 is the cap, or maybe it's 60 again. I don't know. That's why it confuses me a little bit when I read a review that said Final Cut has all of them. Because that doesn't make sense to me, because each of the games, they had different classes, different mechanics, different skill trees. So unless they patched that since I last played, I don't really understand how Final Cut could come with all of them, unless you can like launch them separately. That would make more sense, but not within the same game, because they all function a little differently. And in fact, that was one of the major complaints. Like, I will tell you, Final Cut, which is what I'm playing right now, has mixed reviews, while Van Helsing 2, which is probably my favorite, has positive, I believe. I didn't look, but... And all of them have multiplayer. Like, you can lobby with your friends to play all of them. But they all look the same, so it's not like... They're not radically different, only in, like, the skill trees and the stuff are very different. But yeah, the story's a little more interesting to play through, just on the virtue of lore and dialogue. I'll just end it here. That's this game. You know, very steampunky. If you're looking for a Diablo alternative, but you don't want to look at the same generic fantasy garbage over and over and over and over again, you could do a lot worse than this game. This game's pretty good. Again, certain chapters are better than others. But yeah, I guess I'll stop here. Oh, I made it to level 20. Cool. So there you have it.